Okay, so PPPs slash PPP-deps. Alright, let's start. What are participles? Participles are verbal adjectives, so they act like verbs, but they are declined as adjectives, meaning they have a tense and a voice. They modify nouns and they take declension endings, such as the adjective latest if you have a participle, you would decline it just how you would an adjective. All right. PPPs. Perfect passive participles, meaning having been xed. They're formed from the fourth principal part, which has the noun endings. Some might be familiar with that. They're declined as first/second adjectives. So it matches gender and number and case. So if you have a neuter, don't forget to add the a's and follow the rules for accusative and nominative. Example, extractus having been dragged out. Laudatus having been praised. Those are the two most common examples of PPPs. As you can see, it has the adjective endings. Therefore, if the noun that you are modifying with this PPP is masculine and plural, you would have laudati with an I. So you just go according to what it's modifying. And PPPs tend to modify nouns and you translate them passive. Do not forget the passive part, such as having been xed, having been whatever, but don't forget that part. Alrighty. PPP-deps, everyone's favorite. Present passive participles, deponent. Many of you might be familiar with the deponent part. Deponent verbs are verbs who look passive but are translated active. So with PPP-deps, you go to the fourth principal part of the deponent verbs, but you take off the sum part. Example, locor, loqui, locutus sum. So to get the PPP-dep, just take locutus and take off the sum. You decline as a first/second adjective and you translate it actively. Do not forget the actively part, so you essentially translate it the opposite that you think you would translate. Alright. PPPP. It does not have an object, but it has an agent. Agent is usually what an indirect object is called. So if you have a PPP, you have to have something in the ablative case. So for example, fur sin visus per oppidum ambulabat. The thief, having been seen by the old man, was walking through the town. Alright, so the noun is the thief, or fur. Having been, we have that part. Seen by whom? Sene. Sene is the agent, and it is in the correct case ablative. And visus is in the correct form because it is modifying fur, who has been seen by the old man, the thief. Therefore, fur is masculine, so visus is in the masculine case and correct and perfect. Alrighty. PPP-deps. Alright, they have a direct object, which is usually in the accusative case. It matches subject and case/gender. So it is just like an adjective. Example, tabernam ingressus latros filias vitupere coepid. Having entered the tavern, Latro began to curse his sons. Alrighty, so having entered what? The tavern. Alright, so Latro is masculine and singular, and Gracis modifies Latro because he's the one who is entering the tavern. So therefore everything's correct and you translate it actively, and do not forget that you translate it actively. Alright. Common PPPs/PPP-deps. Extractus having been dragged out. This one is a very common one. Do not forget to match the subject in gender, case, and number. Usu having been ordered. Laudatus having been praised. It looks like laudare. It comes from the fourth principal part of laudare. Alright, common PPP-deps. The common PPP-deps are on the right side. Adeptus having obtained. Precatus having prayed. Conspicatus having caught sight of. With the PPP-deps, it is really important not to forget that they are translated actively. Although they look like they should be translated passively, translate them actively as having xed. while PPPs, you just do having been X. Alright, and do not forget that they are like adjectives. That will really help you. Remember, they are essentially adjectives, so do not forget that they modify and have to have the correct number and gender. And the difference between them is that ppp-deps translated actively, and they have a direct object, accusative. PPPs translated passively, and they have an agent, something in the dative object. Alright, that is it, and thank you for listening.